Hello, this is D-Doll. This is the silhouette quiz I posted in the community. Looking at the comments, it seems like you all think I'm chubby, but I actually have a standard body type and I don't have a belly. We'll now look at Jang, Goosengyuk's strongest character. When you think of Goosengyuk, you might recall Chin, but in the original, Jang excels at using the system. He may not seem likable, but his performance is outstanding. Even Poppy from next door, who was just sleeping, could do the work of 3 people if he played him. That's how easy this character is. It's crying. Jang Goohan's top-tier basic move is a ranged attack. Its performance is insane, and even if you just use this well, your opponents will love it. The hitbox is absolutely crazy, the reach is extremely long, and the startup is pretty fast too. No matter what your opponent tries to do, just using this move is almost like having a barrier. Can this one move cover everything from ranged pokes to small jump flushes? Close range A is much more ordinary than the special ranged A. You can just cancel it, and basically it performs as we would expect, but there are still some disappointing aspects. The recognition range of close range A is shorter than you might think, so you could miss combo opportunities. Standing B completely covers the weaknesses of close range A. The reason I refer to it as standing B is because the motion and performance are the same for both close range and long range. Even if you just hit with the tip using the standing B glitch, you can still follow up with this move. Jangwan is slower than expected, but still tough to approach. However, standing B lets you combo from a greater distance. You can cancel into an air move, so even if you miss, your move is still safe. Jangwan's Far C is another top basic move. Its reach and hitbox are amazing. With high stun, 3 hits usually leave your opponent out of it. The hitbox is so good it even beats Pyo's moves, which are known for strong hitboxes. If the opponent is stand-sized or smaller and crouching, this move won't hit. It's tough to catch their lower body unless they're close. However, since Far C is typically used at a distance and at an angle, this usually isn't an issue. The most unremarkable basic move in the world is his Close C. It's just a basic move with this kind of hit, but that's really all there is to it. First, the startup frames are too slow. Even if you hit the opponent, you can't cancel out of it. Despite the difficulty of getting in close and the slow startup, all you get is a single hit, even if it connects. C has both a jumping and a long-range version, so it's easier to think of it that way. You could use it as a zoning tool, but honestly, for zoning, Far D is better. The reach is decent, but it's really slow, and the hitbox isn't all that impressive either. A and C are available, but they're unnecessary for zoning. Additionally, Far D actually has a shorter reach than C. It's a good basic move if used well, but if used awkwardly, you'll get punished. This is Close D. Honestly, except for the extremely slow startup frames, it's actually a pretty decent basic move. The cancel timing is much more generous than you might think. However, because the startup is so slow, it's almost impossible to connect it as a combo after a jump attack. Instead, it's really good for setting up against a knockdown opponent because the active frames are extremely long. If you get close and use Close D, your opponent will be blocking. Hold the direction key while doing this. If not just setting up, you can grab them, or if they guard, go for a command grab battle. The best basic move to use for Iron Ball Spin is crouching A. For Iron Ball Spin, you need to input A or C rapidly in a short time, and after starting with this input, you just need to do it 3 more times. If you're too old, weak, or sick to even lift a spoon, I understand if you can't use this. The reach itself is just a little bit longer compared to standing B, but when crouching A hits at the very tip, it goes beyond the throw range, so instead of following up with a throw, it's safer to just use it for the spin. That's my opinion. Frankly, you don't need to use it, but crouching B is quite effective. Even with its slow startup, people can't instantly react just by seeing it. Use it to check low and add pressure moves. Mixing in jump attacks and a command throw after a low hit keeps your opponent from responding. He's already strong in aerial battles, but his upper type normal, crouching C, has great anti-air capabilities. The startup is a bit slow, but as long as you get the timing right, it can beat most anti-air moves. It's a normal move that also exploits the 96 system bug. Originally, it's a normal move that only hits once on contact, but you can change it into a multi-hit normal like this. At this time, whether it hits or is blocked, you can always cancel it. To use it, stop the hit and then hold down the cannon command. The downside is that it's hard to connect it as a combo through a jump normal attack. In fact, it's a basic move that's hard to hit even up close, so it's enough to just know that this kind of move exists. If you've set it up, that's great. It's used to cancel into specials, and Anjali has good reach. Since charging the destruction gauge is quick, Anjali helps charge it. If you start with a jump attack and charge until Anjali activates, the cancel timing will be tight. Use Anjali from a distance. If you're too close, you won't hit your opponent. Now it's a basic move that's clearly meant for air-to-air use, but there's nothing in this world that's completely unbeatable, like a jump attack. This move only works air-to-air, so it won't hit crouching characters. Now, for it to make up for this weakness, its anti-air performance would have to be amazing, but honestly, its hitbox is a bit lacking to even give it a passing grade, so using this as an air-to-air move just isn't an option. If you try to rush in with this, you're basically signing up to get hit by a low attack combo right away. Now, among the jumping normals, Jump B is the fastest to come out. It's the go-to for easy combo routes when you want to start with a jump in and use a jumping normal first. However, if you use it too deep, you'll get beaten by anti-air normals like this. However, since it comes out quickly, landing a hit with it can actually be pretty easy. Though it's a light attack, its long hit stun lets you easily combo, but as you master Jump D timing, you'll use B less often. Now for real zoning, there's the crazy normal move, Jump C. It comes out pretty fast and has an insanely long reach. Its hitbox is also just crazy. Honestly, you could win the game just by using this. At this level, even if I handed the controller to my mom, she could probably play as a one-man army. It can even go toe-to-toe with strong anti-airs, and just looking at the damage, your opponents are actually at a disadvantage. Now, when you want to rush in and land a combo, you use Jump D. Actually, Jangwan's Jump D is a bit lacking, but it's still a really easy normal to use for mix-ups. First, its hitbox is pretty generous, so if your opponent is crouching, you can just throw it out and still get a mix-up. Second, when you're right up close and do a forward jump, you can just press it and still get a mix-up. If you start with Jump D and follow up with a combo, you can take away half of their health. Jump C is now optimized for harassing opponents and doesn't require a combo. Gong Dae Ju, whether it's air to ground or air to air, no matter the situation, it will make your opponent really annoyed. Your opponent can't block it crouching. It's fast and does good damage, so its pressure ability is incredible. You can't carelessly use basic moves or anti-air against it. Its long reach creates a game that only benefits Jangwan. Alright, if you ascend alone, you probably know you'll just get hit by a combo. This is a move you must memorize the command for so you don't accidentally trigger it. I tried to learn the emergency firepower's penalty, but since I'm a bit of a blockhead, I couldn't learn it exactly. As an anti-air, its performance is basically non-existent, so you have to think carefully. If you get sucked in by Jangwan in an aerial battle, it just means your opponent is way better. You can connect it in a combo, but the follow-up situation isn't that great. If you use the strong version, it doesn't connect into a combo. Without this move, Jangwan couldn't be the strongest in the old look. It's the best move that allows you to attack and defend at the same time. It's simple, deals good damage, and Jangwan usually has the advantage after. Using cancels well here can really throw off your opponent. Canceling as soon as it lands gives Jangwan advantage frames. It also triggers guard crushes often. If the opponent guards in the air, it deals so much chip damage it nearly explodes. Additionally, for Jangwan's Iron Ball Spin, it's best to use it from the first player's position if possible. Even if both use it at the same time, the first player's Jangwan's attack will hit the opponent first. This depends on the player's position, so it doesn't matter whether you're first or second player. If it's a mirror match, just remember that the first player's Jangwan has the advantage. This is a command grab technique. The damage is brutal, and in 96, the command grab range is just insane. In 96, if a character has a command grab, it's easiest to just think of them as having at least a strong tiger ride. Jang goes further by adding a bug-like move, completely breaking the game. If the opponent rolls in any direction, even while spinning the iron ball, the command grab will connect, since 96 has no directional CD. If you corner your opponent and spin the iron ball, you can dominate the game. Precise spinning is enough to control the match. Also, directional rolls lack throw escape frames, making this strategy effective. If you spin the iron ball while keeping perfect distance, it's such a broken technique that Jang can hardly ever lose the game. Honestly, the other moves are so good that you don't even really need to use this one. And like Goopal, it has a ton of invincibility frames before and after activation, so unless you catch him with a grab, it's almost impossible to even follow up with a combo, so you just have to throw it out raw. It's only invincible just before the attack comes out. Finally, I'll show you smashing it against boss Li Yan. Honestly, with other characters, this boss fight is really exhausting, but with Jang, even the bosses can't handle his crazy moves and you can just overwhelm them. Previously, the boss who intimidated us as kids was tough and distant, but now, against our seasoned Jang, he helplessly gets defeated. Even Genichu, known for his frustrating grabs and whirlwind attacks, isn't remarkable. But since not many people participated in the raffle held at BAM, it ended up being a flop, so please come and claim it at Jenga. The controller and figures are free. April 22nd is the last day, so there's not much time left. Maybe it's because it's a panel-level Genikura, but it seems to read the player's inputs. However, even Genikura can't handle Jang insane performance. Usually, this boss creates whirlwinds, swings its arms, and causes chaos, but if you keep jumping, it can't do much. If you struggled to beat Genikura before, try this. If landing a hit was tough, now you'll be able to toy with him. That's all from Daeok so far. Now that the cold is gone, it truly feels like spring. You can't stop spring, no matter how many flowers you pick or how old or sick you are. If you listen to a song, spring will come to you too, right?